up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today we're going to be talking about Turo. More specifically, we're going to be talking about what happens whenever a car is totaled on Turo. Now, unfortunately, I'm here to say that another one of my cars has been totaled. It was my 2009 Toyota Yaris and it was totaled a couple of days ago. So I'm going to be breaking down this exact process and teaching you guys what you need to do to ensure that you're covered in this exact same instance. So let's get started. Now, if you guys have watched this channel before, you probably know that I love, and I mean like I really love, Toyota products. They are my favorite type of car. I have a Toyota 4Runner that is a 1997 year model with 315,000 miles. And if I could have it my way, I would own a fleet of Toyotas because I wholeheartedly believe that they are the best car out there. But unfortunately for me, Toyotas are very expensive and I like to keep my Turo fleet as cheap as possible. And because of that, I only had two Toyotas in my fleet. I have a 2009 Toyota Yaris and a 2007 Toyota Yaris. And these two Yarises are my most reliable cars. They are two of my favorite cars for my fleet. I absolutely love these cars. But unfortunately, I'm here today to mourn the loss of my 2009 Toyota Yaris, which was in an accident last week and it was totaled. Now, the exact details surrounding this accident are unknown to me. The guest messaged me approximately 10 minutes after they picked up the vehicle from my location, letting me know that they had wrecked the car. In fact, his exact message read, "Aubrey, there was an accident, frowny face." And then about 30 minutes later, I received this picture, which was a picture of the car wrecked and the airbags were clearly deployed. Now, for some cars, airbag deployation doesn't always indicate a total loss, but for most cars they do, and for a cheap Toyota Yaris, it is almost certainly a death sentence, and that is going to be the case with this 2009 Yaris. Now, I bought this car about 2.5 years ago. It was one of my longest owned vehicles, so it was one of the cars that has been listed on the platform the longest, and it had 185,000 miles. Now, I'm going to be going over the details of the exact numbers of this car, how much it cost me, how much it made, how much I was paid out. The claim is still in process, so I can't make that video now, but I will in the future. So if you want to check that out, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you are notified when that video drops. But the point of this video isn't to talk about my specific 2009 Toyota Yaris, though I am gutted by the loss of this car. Instead, what I want to talk about is what you can do to protect yourself and what overall the process looks like whenever you have a total loss. So the first thing that happens with a total loss of a car is the guest will typically contact you. Sometimes this happens, but sometimes it doesn't. I have had times where a car is totaled, I hear nothing from the guest, and the first time I am made aware of this total loss or of this vehicle accident is whenever Turo customer support contacts me directly. This has actually happened on a number of occasions. But more often than not, the guest will contact you either via the Turo Messenger, either via text, or either by calling you, letting you know that there has been an accident. Typically speaking, what happens after the accident, at least for you, is a bit irrelevant. Your involvement really doesn't take place until a Turo representative contacts you. Once an accident happens, typically for me, I will ask the guest to send me pictures. This is purely from a curiosity standpoint. It doesn't really mean anything for my protection and for my reimbursement. I just am typically always curious, okay, how bad is the damage? What does the car look like? What is the state of the vehicle? Now, depending on what type of accident it was will dictate your next steps. If the car is damaged beyond repair, or if it's damaged to the point where it can't be driven off, typically it will be towed to a local tow yard. The tow yard that it gets towed to is not dictated by Turo, it's not dictated by the guest, it's not dictated by insurance. It is simply dictated by which tow yard is closest, which can be a pain in the butt because if the tow yard is far away, it means that your car is also going to be located far away. In some cases, if there's an accident with your car and it's not that damaged, it's just minor damage, you could theoretically allow the guest to keep the car for the duration of the trip and then return it when the trip is complete, and you can file the damage claim then. This has happened to me a number of times for small fender benders and for small pieces of damage, but it really is up to you and if you feel comfortable having the guest take the car after it's been damaged. For me, I don't care, but I can see why people would care if the car was higher value. Typically for me, I will file a damage claim as soon as I am made aware of the damage. I will file that claim to get it out of the way to make sure my bases are covered. In the case of this most recent 2009 Toyota Yaris, I was made aware of the damage claim 10 minutes after the rental, and within a couple of minutes of being aware of the damage, I filed the claim. So in the case of a total loss, like I mentioned earlier, 9 times out of 10, that vehicle is going to get towed to a tow yard. In some cases, the tow agency may ask you if you want to tow it somewhere else, in which case you could tow it to your house or to a shop. But more often than not, if it's just an accident that the guest caused and you're not there to be with the vehicle, the car will be towed to a tow yard. Now, for me personally, I don't really prioritize seeing the cars. I don't really need to see them. It's quite honestly a waste of my time. So like I mentioned earlier, my car was in this total loss accident 3 days ago. I still have not seen the car to this day. And more often than not, this will be the case. I will never see the cars again after they've been totaled. You'll typically sign a power of attorney, which is basically you signing away your rights to Turo for the car. It gives them the validity to go out and tow that car to their appraiser, which typically happens in a couple of days. And that's actually currently the step that I'm on right now in my total loss process. So typically I will never see the car again, which again is sad because I really did love that 2009 Toyota Yaris. But then once the car makes it to the tow yard, you then have to arrange for Turo to go pick it up. Now, in the case of total losses, like I mentioned, you typically will never see that car again. In cases of cars that can be repaired, you can then have that car get towed to a local tow yard or to your shop or even to your house if you're going to be doing the repairs yourself. But again, if it's totaled and you're not going to be fixing the car, then you typically will not see it again. It will simply get towed from the tow yard to the appraiser, and then the appraiser will appraise the vehicle. Now, once the car is at the appraiser, it is now a matter of getting paid for the value of the car that has now been totaled and being paid the replacement value of the car. This is where my entire methodology when it comes to Turo really comes into play. I'm a big believer that in order to be successful in Turo, you have to go with low-cost vehicles. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be low-end economy cars like I prefer, but you need to buy the cars at a below market value price. This is because in the case of a total loss, like what I just experienced, if you buy a car above market value, once that car is totaled, they are going to be going by actual cash value, and that's where you can end up losing money. So in my case, I buy all of my cars below market value, typically significantly below market value. And because of that, once the ACV is taken into account when it comes to appraising a car for a total loss value claim, I typically make money. For example, I had a 2007 Ford Focus that was totaled a few months ago. I paid $2,400 for that car, and I was paid out close to $3,000 for that car. So I made $600 off of the total loss of that vehicle, and I was able to rent out that vehicle for close to 2 years. I was able to make about $10,000 off of that vehicle as well, and I made money off of it once it was totaled. So whenever you buy below market vehicles, this is where you can really start to make a profit off of those cars whenever they do end up getting totaled, which unfortunately is a high likelihood when it comes to Turo and renting your car out to people that sometimes are a bit negligent. The other thing that's important to note about appraising your car and getting the ACV value is that more often than not, the ACV is based off of a database. It's not like a number that is pulled based off of the condition of your car. Typically, the appraiser will look at the vehicle, look at the trim level of the vehicle, and then pay you out based off of that trim level and the mileage and the year of the car, not based off of the condition of your specific car. So like, for example, if you have a car that was a 2010, but it was in pristine condition, that really doesn't matter when it comes to the ACV payout of that car if there's a total loss. The only thing that really matters is year, make, model, trim, and mileage. Once the car is appraised, you will then end up getting some sort of fact sheet from Turo that will outline how much money they are going to be paying you. Depending on the protection package that you have with your cars will dictate how much you will receive and if there will or will not be a deductible associated with that payment. In my case, I'm on the 70% plan, so I do have a $250 deductible. So whatever the ACV value of my car is set at, they will add taxes to that, and then they will deduct the deductible from that as well, and then that will be what I am paid out. Now, typically speaking, total loss claims for me in the past have gone pretty smoothly. I've never had a whole lot of issues getting claims approved and getting fair values for my vehicles, which I really credit to the fact that number one, I take a ton of photos between each and every rental. Number two, I follow the terms of service for Turo to an absolute T. I do not leave anything up to the imagination. I follow the guidelines exactly as they're laid out. And number three, I buy my cars below market value. value. These three factors are why I believe I have been able to make a profit off of every single total loss that I've had, because of the fact that I make sure these things are covered each and every time. Unfortunately though, total losses with Turo is just a part of the game. People are really negligent, especially with things that don't belong to them. And this is something that is incredibly frustrating because I've never personally understood it. I've always treated other people's things the same, if not better, than I would treat my own belongings. And this is something that couldn't be further from the truth when it comes to Turo. People treat your cars like absolute trash on Turo, and I just do not get it. I don't understand it. And it's something that is incredibly frustrating. In this case, somebody picks up my car, 10 minutes later, it's totaled. And I just can't help but think that that is due partially to negligence on the guest, and it wasn't just simply a fluke, especially because it looks as though the accident was the guest's fault. Now, if you guys are interested in learning more about car sharing and how to potentially start your own car sharing fleet, I do have a course called the Car Sharing Masterclass. This course takes you from the entire process of how to start a car sharing business from A to Z, from how to buy cars, how to list your car, how to make sure that you're covered in the case of an accident, how to make the most money as possible. It really covers everything you need to know. If you're interested in checking it out, then I will include a link down in the description below. Also, if you guys are interested in having a kind of more in-depth look into how I run my business and what I do on a day-to-day basis, not only just with Turo, but also other ventures as well. The fact is, I have a lot of different income streams and I don't really talk about them a whole lot on this channel. I have started a second channel called Aubrey and HP, which is with my fiance, and it's a vlog channel where we really document how we make our money, what we do on a weekly basis to make money, and how we are growing our wealth. We will be kind of taking you guys through the process as we grow our own wealth, and in turn, we will help you guys grow your wealth as well. If you guys are interested in checking out the channel, I will include a link down in the description below. I will also include a link down to the pinned comment section as well. We will be doing a giveaway on that channel once we reach 1,000 subscribers, so you got to check that out. But like always, you guys, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, then make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.